Coming up on today's show, we'll be taking you through all of April's releases, including the Minecraft movie.
We'll also be letting you know which massive events you can watch on your Cineworld screens this month.
Welcome to What's On at Cineworld Cinemas. I'm Luke Owen.
And I'm Laurie Blake, and we are here at the O2 in London at the Cineworld to tell you everything that's coming to screens this month.
And we've got some big movies, including the Minecraft movie and others. So let's go get some snacks and we'll talk about them. It's the best bit. We have got quite a few movies to discuss this month, including, actually, it's a double video game adaptation month as well. And we're kicking things off with the Minecraft movie.
A movie you just didn't think could be done, but they've somehow done it.
Both video game adaptations we've got this month are one of those that's like, how are you going to adapt that into a movie? And with Minecraft, the answer was you put Jack Black in the center of it.
Well, I mean, Jack Black has proven that, like, with the Jumanji movies, that he's kind of the perfect person to represent video gameness, I think, on screen.
Yeah.
And then you've got, I think they've managed to sort of pick up on what the core of Minecraft is, right? Like, a lot of this movie is about creativity and building stuff and using your imagination, and then they've set that off against all the people from the Nether and the Enders and all that kind of stuff, and said, like, these guys, they have no creativity and they want to stamp it out across the board.
Yeah.
It's getting right down to the core of that game.
It's kind of the Lego movie vibe of just like, you can either sort of follow the rules and follow the instructions, or just let your creativity run free and build whatever you want.
The problem with that, Luke, was that I was always a follow the instructions person.
You were.
And if I ever dropped it, then it was like, oh no, this will never be built again now, because I can't do it. I can't unmake it and then start again.
I mean, I actually do this because I'm building Lego with my kids every Sunday, and she's just like, can I put this here? I was like, no, you put it here, because that's what the instructions say.
The rules are the rules!
It won't look like a plant if we put it there. Anyway, the Minecraft movie looks like a lot of fun.
It does look like
the trailer, when it came out as well, everyone had a lot of fun with it, because you literally had Jack Black walk out and was like, I am Steve.
Yeah, with the epic moment. Yes. Old Minecraft.
So I think it'll be a film that is full of that.
Yes, I think it knows exactly what kind of it knows exactly how it's pitching itself. I think it also knows how sort of on paper ridiculous it seems.
Of course, yeah.
As well, and it's just like completely playing with that as part of the formula. So I think it'll be a lot of fun.
A lot of fun, yeah. And a very different vibe to The Last Supper Part 1.
Part 1, the hors d'oeuvres.
They're just actually just booking the table.
Yeah, just on the app, booking it. Do I really want 12? If I bring 12, one of them's guaranteed to betray me.
It's going to, and splitting the bill's going to be a lot harder to do.
Oh my God. Well, fortunately, I won't be there at the end, I guess.
But a film I'm very much looking forward to this month is, I mean, just the title alone, and then with the stars next to it, because you've got Paul Rudd and Jenny Ortega, Death of a Unicorn.
This feels like somebody watched Cabin in the Woods and was like, I just want to do just the unicorn bit.
Just that bit.
Just want just the unicorn bit. There are so many myths about unicorns and all the things they do, like granting wishes and how you can capture them and all that kind of stuff, but then also exploring the idea of them as kind of, a monster.
A monster, yeah.
And just everyone's like, oh, they're nice. They're mythic. They're My Little Ponies, basically.
But
no, they're not. They're vicious, murdering machines.
My kid, she's turning 4 in September. Oh, she loves unicorns. She thinks unicorns are proper magic.
Yeah, so don't show her this film.
I was going to say, I can go to watch a movie where they are not magic. It's a murderous, horrible machine.
There's a new A24 film as well. It looks like it's so stupid, but everyone's taking it so seriously, and I think that's going to make it work. I think that's the really interesting thing about this.
I think that's the balance, the right balance to strike is taking the subject matter seriously, but not yourself.
Yeah.
But speaking of taking things very seriously, we have Amateur, the new movie starring Rami Malek and Lawrence Fishburne.
So Rami Malek is a CIA security systems operative and data analyst whose wife is murdered. And then he decides, put me in the field, chief. They go, no, you do cameras. And he goes, I'll put myself in the field, Chief. And off he goes on his murderous rampage, trying to take down all of the people who were involved in killing his wife. And it's that, it's got this kind of like when somebody from a completely different skill set who has almost one up on the CIA in this movie as well, because he's essentially designed all of their systems that they could use to even stop him doing this. And then you just get to watch this crazy revenge fantasy.
Yeah, revenge seems to be a big talking point at the moment in terms of the world of movies, and feels like this is another one of those revenge action movies. But if you like your sort of like guns and blasting and whatnot, so there's a lot of it this month, but slightly different to that. If you want a different flavour of movie, you could go down the corridor, hang a left, and go and see the latest from Blumhouse and the director of Happy Death Day, a film that I'm super stoked to see because this is right up my alley of horror, high concept horror thriller stuff. Drop, which is a movie about a mother who goes on a date, and then when she's on this date, things start getting dropped onto her phone, airdropped onto her phone, and they are warnings. They're sort of memes, but they could be read as warnings. And she passes it across to her date, and he's like, I don't know what this is, but hey, they've got to be in the restaurant somewhere because they're being airdropped these. And it turns out they've got a kid at home and they're going to hold him hostage unless she plays a game for them, which involves her having to murder her date.
Yeah, I mean, it's high concept is the. I mean, not a great first date, I would say as well. Like, you know, for both people. I think the reviews, any reviews on the apps would be bad. But I think what a concept. I think it's so fun, and it's like it's got that kind of voyeuristic, almost like phone booth. Style thing of like I can see everything you're doing. I think there's lots of fun with that and trying to work out the mystery, but also that kind of trying to have that quiet moment of revolt in this really high intensity situation, trying to work out how you can outsmart someone who can see everything and is so well prepared for you.
Yeah, and like, you know, part of the rules are you cannot tell anyone that this is what you're doing and stuff. So it's, and the director of Happy Death Day, which a film I absolutely loved, is the perfect person for a movie like this, which is, like we were talking about earlier, it is taking the subject matter seriously, but not yourself, and just having fun with what you're doing. This is like perfect Friday night movie-going experience. The following week, there's a bit of a different tone, and I think it is one of those movies, a bit like, watching the trailer reminded me of From Dusk Till Dawn, that idea of you think you're getting one movie and then it becomes a very different movie, is the new one from Ryan Coogler, Sinners.
So yeah, Michael B. Jordan is in the lead role. He's returning to his hometown with his brother. This is all set in Prohibition era America, so 1930s, so there's a lot of tensions. And then you've got they're returning to their hometown to be faced with this weird evil that seems to be going on and seems to be corrupting various people around the town. There's a lot of kind of religious symbology, I would say here.
So yes, some sinners, you might say. But it looks like it's once it gets into the second part of it, it becomes a big actiony, lots of guns, lots of shooting. Like the final shot of the trailer is just Michael B. Jordan looking buff, shooting in slow motion, bang, 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 bang. So if you like Michael B. Jordan looking buff and shooting guns, Sinners is the one for you. And a very different tone is Steve Coogan, not Ryan Coogler, but Steve Coogan, and a penguin.
Oh, yes.
Teaching kids, because we've got Steve Coogan in at the penguin lesson.
Yeah, just going, I don't want this penguin. And then the penguin being like, oh, I do want to be your friend. But it's set in Argentina. He goes there during a period of political upheaval to teach English to students over there, and he's struggling because they're unruly. He then goes on a trip to Uruguay, I think, and meets this penguin who he saves from an oil slick in an effort to impress a woman. Woman maybe doesn't stick around, penguin does. And the penguin teaches him a bunch of lessons. So it's like a sort of fictionalized version of My Octopus Teacher, but the octopus is a penguin.
Yeah, and then they go on a date and someone airdrops
I've got your kids at home. The penguin's like, I don't even know how to use the phone.
I've got to teach these kids with the penguin. Don't tell anyone. But our action streak continues as Ben Affleck is back as the accountant in The Accountant 2, which also stars John Bernthal, and who I absolutely adore.
Well, I think this is the thing. It's like, where do you go from that first movie, which was really well liked, I think, at the time as well. And you've got that kind of emotionless character of Ben Affleck as the accountant, and then you bring in his brother, the bloody Punisher,
who has got all that the sort of the charm about him.
Yeah,
he's got, you know, maybe the wittier one-liners.
But he's also much more free, shall we say, with his murderous abilities. So it's the tension between someone who's like meticulous and controlled, and somebody who's a bit more wilder and aggressive, and kind of like them trying to work together to help basically solve this case by maybe looking outside of the law.
And lastly, to talk about is our other video game movie adaptation for the month, as we get the big screen version of Until Dawn, which is a fascinating game to adapt, because if you've not played the game, the gimmick of the game is you're essentially the director of the movie, watching these characters, and you're making choices, basically a choose your own adventure, and choosing those takes you down various different paths. That is hard to adapt into a movie, so what they've done is adapt the mechanic of the game to create a very functional, to create a very weird world in which people are sort of reliving the day or going back to certain points, almost like going back to save points in your game.
Yeah, and I think that's a really smart idea, because I think a lot of the criticism that movies about video games generally get is, well, there's already the game. The game is already a story that you watch, and you also experience it by playing through it as well. And Until Dawn especially is one of those games that had huge cinematic aspirations, right? So like it was made to feel like a movie that you play. So just adapting that original story, I don't think would have done it justice, because people would just be like, well, this is the same as what I've already experienced. So
or that path is a better version of doing that path.
Well, then you've also then got to choose the definitive story from a game in which people get a lot of options. So this is a really great way to get around that, because you essentially explore that mechanic of like these characters are reliving the same night and seemingly have to survive until dawn. And they're going to meet various monsters and characters from the Until Dawn franchise, including like the VR game that had a lot of other things added to it. And really dive into that world, but it's that mechanic. And I imagine there's probably going to be some very meta stuff going on in the movie as it resolves, but I'm excited to see what they do with that, because I think the premise is really interesting.
Also, the first game had Rami Malek in it. And here he is doing a different movie this month. But that's all we've got time for on this edition of What's On at Cineworld Cinemas. You can check out all of the movies that we've discussed today using the links in the video description down below.
And if you want to get your What's On blast as audio only, it is available on all major podcast platforms.
But we'll be back next month for another edition of What's On at Cineworld Cinemas. I've been Luke Owen.
And I've been Laurie Blake.
And that's What's On.